welcome to the Miss Best Reviews channel. We have our co-host, James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel.
Hey. Hi, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my girl's channel. Show her some love.
Please do. Please do. I appreciate it all. I also hope that everybody subscribes to James's channel. The link is in the description of this video. It is always and is in the description of every video. But we're going to go live after we do this live to discuss Dr. Wendy and her shady scandal. And attorney Edward. What the hell? Hot Mess Express. Bravo has become like they could literally probably do YouTube compilations of the Bravo mugshots and scandals. And all of these Bravo people, don't matter your color, where you from, what franchise you are, how you grew up, don't matter. They all seem to end up and indulge in various activities. I don't understand it. Now, if my broke ass can follow the law on the social worker income, then they should be able to follow the law. But we're going to talk about it more on James's channel. So please subscribe. Please subscribe. Let's pop into the comments, you guys. I was chatting away with James, so apologies for being late. I'm a Gemini. We talk too much. I'll take the blame.
It was a great conversation. Y'all had to be there.
A mess. I'm trying to get him to come back to California, but I'm realizing that may not happen. But we have the same vision, y'all.
We have the same vision. We just don't know how to coordinate. That's just what it is. Like, we ready to be accountability partners in business. And then already our personal friendship is already thriving of almost 20 years. I can't see myself with work partnering with anybody other than my best friend. Like, we work well together. We coordinate well together. We're always communicating. It's perfect, y'all. Help us coordinate. Where should we go? What should we do?
And convince our spouses to just accept.
Right. Mine is harder than hers. Hers is open for the... You lucky he ain't here right now, because I will call him up in this room. That man is difficult. Difficult. Child, let me get on Real Housewives. I'll show you how this works. Because this man is different. When I tell you, he don't budge for shit.
It's because he's Jamaican.
Is that what it is? Is that what it? Girl, when I tell y'all, he don't like the little cutesy, little flirty, like that. That shit don't work. I can't be aggressive with it because then he gets overly aggressive. I can't. There's nothing I can. Girl, y'all, I have tried. So
James is just nice, y'all. Y'all don't understand.
No, I'm just nice. I'm just nice because Shanny, I'm older than my man. So no, yes, I'm older than him. My brother is older than him. So no, yes. And you understand, Xavier's 5 years younger than me. So yes.
Oh, wow. Ew, okay. All right.
Right. He's too young to be setting away. So he'll be 30 he'll be 30 his next birthday.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I just feel old. Okay, let me move on.
Aquarius, Shanny. He's an Aquarius.
Oh yeah, good luck. Shanny said, I know this is off Housewives of Miami topic, but I know you all saw the news about Wendy and Eddie. Like, oh no, dang it, Wendy, I like you and your husband. I'm not surprised. Maryland's expensive.
Especially Baltimore.
See, yeah, Maryland's very expensive.
Yes.
And she was working a job that probably supported her well, but it didn't pay her certain parts of her. We're going to talk about it on James's live.
Yes, we are. Let's save that for a lot because she's making great points. Mrs. Best is making excellent points. We're going to talk more about that. We're going to dissect it. I promise y'all are not going to want to miss this.
Look, Shanny's like, it's a mess. It's a mess. Shout out to my spouse. I guess he is here.
Oh, so best.
Not you saying it like the song. I'm cracking.
I love that. Girl, I tell you, I listen to your lives all the time just to hear that damn intro.
I'm cracking up. Stream Also Best. Don't be scared. The three.
No, when y'all come out here, help me come up with a theme for me, please. Miss Also Best, please come up with some beats for me so I can open up and have my own little shit. Thank you. I appreciate you, brother.
We will be visiting James this month. We are very excited to do it. I'm going to try and go live with him too while down there.
We definitely going live. I got to move my desk in my room. But yeah, we definitely going live.
But we will help you with that. We don't mind. He putting our ass to work, but I ain't got shit else to do. So my husband has to go to school. I have nothing. She said, "Are you on?" No, we was just talking. But let's get into the Housewives of Miami. This was not a tenderoni. I love it. This was an episode not worth my time or yours, but it's going to be fun to talk about because this shit was messy. So we basically leave off with Julia exposing that her and Adriana slept together. I believe her. I think they did something together, but we'll get into that. I believe they did something. It's clear. But Andy, why did you not ask Julia? Because some of the people online are torn, and I get that if we look into like the semantics of it, but Andy should have asked Julia, if you have this woman on camera admitting and showing herself asking Adriana to be the godparent of her kids when she adopts them, but then she said on this reunion that she never wanted Adriana to be that, please start doing a better job, Andy Cohen, because if I can catch that and I'm just a regular person who's tired as hell from work and high off the devil's lettuce when I'm watching the episodes, if I can catch that inebriated, why can't you, Andy Cohen? Just saying. Like, what is the point in having a host if he just asks a question and then sits there while they argue? Like, I'm tired of Andy hosting, but we've heard this before. Now, apparently Martina knows. That's what comes out. This is hard to recap, kind of, you guys, in terms of taking notes to do a YouTube live because they were all over the place. So please bear with me. The subject changes to Martina, which I was glad about because Lisa points out, like, oh my God, when it comes out, like, but you're married. Because Julia brought this information out as if she was going to make Adriana look like she's crazy. But as Gertie had stated later on in the episode, Adriana is not married, making her technically single. The only person who has the expectation not to sleep with people is Julia or Martina. So I don't like how Julia's trying to manipulate it and make it seem like Adriana is a problem for something that she participated in. But apparently Martina does know. The cast is asking Julia, like, girl, why did you tell Martina about this? And Julia says she told Martina about it because Adriana was psychologically abusing her. To me, Julia's dangerous for saying that. And it just seems, so Julia feels like Adriana basically is controlling her life with this story. And to me, it just looks like Julia doesn't want to be accountable. Now, technically, she's correct because psychological abuse is if you like know something about someone or use something someone has been through intentionally against them or to change their train of thought. But honestly, most humans are guilty of doing it at one point, whether intentional or unintentionally. People have experienced it. You just don't hear of psychological abuse often. It'd be like, let's say I cheat on my husband with James or any of my other friends. And then because of my fear and paranoia of my spouse finding out, I say that James is psychologically abusing me, even though I consented to whatever we allegedly would have done. That doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense if you're in a marriage. It doesn't make sense if you're out of the marriage. It does. I'm not going to cheat, y'all. I don't do that. Don't worry. I'm too loyal. That's my problem.
Same. It's the Bay Area in us because I'm telling you, Bay Area people are some loyal people, like most of them. You got your occasional, little turtles out there that, get to sliming and slithering over to every other people, doing it very slowly. So that way, people don't catch on. But the majority of us, especially those of us that come from like broken homes, we're loyal because directly it's just one of them things where we want that to be reciprocated and we're taught what you do comes back on you. So if you loyal, it's going to happen to you. Not necessarily on all my sections that's been true, but I live in Arizona now, so maybe that's why that hasn't happened yet.
I love it. Now let me see. She said, yes, we need a host. I missed some comments. That's not big fans of best friends with the ladies, and that's going to ask the good questions.
Egypt fraud.
Welcome in, Kevin Reynolds. Please focus on the road.
Yes, especially if it's raining where you are. Please be careful because we got Hurricane Priscilla in Arizona acting like she lost her mind. So,
Yes. Please comment after the live too, or when you're done driving, because we will happily connect and communicate. But yeah, y'all, Julia was just a mess. She was everywhere. It irritated the hell out of me. But essentially, Julia is saying that she cheated on her wife, and this is Adriana's fault that she cheated on her wife. Before we move forward, because it's kind of hard to break down, I want to get James's opinion on just the beginning of that. Like, do you think, or do you sense psychological abuse has occurred?
No, I feel like that was a manipulative thing so that Martina wouldn't put her out. And, that's kind of where I felt it, because to me, you didn't seem like you were guilty of that. You just seemed like it was just something casual that you wanted to keep, not for Martina's benefit, but for Adriana's benefit, because she wasn't notably, from what I understand of her, a lesbian. So I think for me, it was more so you were keeping it context to protect yourself, which is sad, because how did you and Adriana even get there is the first question I have. Like, how did that even happen? First off, her knowing you married, and then you knowing you married, and then y'all on vacation, and this is what y'all do. How did that happen? That's what you need to be explaining.
Like, to this cast, it was irritating me because what Julia did was horrible. Like, I just asked someone married, same-sex relationship, transgender relationship, it doesn't matter the relationship, to find out the person that you are married to or committed to has cheated on you with someone that they think is just a friend that they have trusted you with. And I think the fact that Julie is in a same-sex relationship makes it that much worse, because it's not as simple in some ways always to identify if it's really a friendship or something going to progress more sometimes. So I don't like that Julie is trying to put this off on somebody else. Girl, be accountable.
Oh, let me tell you, as someone who has been with both, it was way more hurtful when the man cheated on me than when the woman cheated on me. It was way more of like a heart wrench, because I thought me being with the same sex, there was more of an intellect where we understand how this works. We understand each other because we both are the same ways. And like me and that fool did think alike a lot of the time. So in terms, I didn't think that he would do that. But when he did it, and it was with a woman, of course, I was messed up over it. And I was about to marry that man. So I was like, oh shit, like, damn. And then, but what made it worse is he did what Julia did, which is he didn't tell me until somebody else brought it to me. And then he had to confess it. So he was going to go to his grave with that shit.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
A lot of people do that. And it's unfortunate, because telling the truth is honestly the one thing that can probably help you if you cheat. Just tell the truth. Come to them. Don't let people find out. It's already enough you committed.
Well, no, this is my rule. If you want to cheat on me, come talk to about it with me first. Tell me about it first before you do it. Let's have a conversation first. Let's have an open dialogue before you go out and do it. Because maybe there's something I need to understand about you that I didn't see before I married you, that you need to, or maybe there's something new that you just discovered about yourself. Because as I said, marriage is a cycle. There's always going to be levels of things you did not know about your spouse. And that, that dating them, no matter how long it's been, 1 to 15 years dating and then decide to marry, there's always elements about them that you'll never know until it surprises you one day, because you can't know all of a person, because our day-to-day is routine. Our weekends sometimes are sporadic and sometimes spontaneous, but it doesn't allow you to see different elements. So y'all have to go into a marriage understanding that. And I think with Julia, I think that she's shady and manipulative. And the more that things come out about her, I definitely agree with that rumor that's out there about her being in a marriage of convenience because she doesn't want to get out there. I definitely can see it now.
And we're going to get to that, because that's a very good point that you're making. Is definitely just a marriage of convenience, because even people who cheat and claim to still love the person they cheat on don't cheat as much as she has allegedly cheated, which we're going to get into a little later. But Andy Cohen asked the group, Andy asked Adriana and Julia if they had sex. Adriana says that they kissed and that they did not have sex. And when asked, what do you mean? She goes, without a dick, there's no sex. I said, Adriana, you can have sex without penetration occurring. For those of us that may not have taken sex ed or may have missed it, not paid attention, maybe the state of whatever, stage of development within Piaget's theory your brain was in, I don't know, whatever reason, but you can have sex without penetration. Examples include oral sex. There's a reason why it's called other things, anal sex. That's penetration, but not all sex is just dick going into coochie. So I'm looking at Adriana and I'm like, you must not know how. Maybe Julia was like your first female. But before we comment on their sex together, Adriana comes out with some crazy stuff. She does say some stuff that I thought was valid. The fact that Julia has imposter syndrome. Okay. One could say that. One could also say Julia's thirsty. Adriana says some crazy shit about Julia's name being pronounced Julia or something and her changing it to Julia. This is where Adriana be losing me. Like, if you're gonna keep your foot on someone's neck, please keep your foot on their neck and make it make sense, because that did not make any sense.
She was detouring the conversation so that Andy wouldn't ask her no more questions, because it was like, why are you doing this? Which makes me think, like, and I know this is gonna be a stretch, but just work with me, friend. You know how I am. It makes me think that Adriana was the aggressor.
I wouldn't disagree, because just because the more someone denies something, it's not just denying it as how you deny it, but also, welcome in.
Welcome in.
I agree with this comment too. After watching this reunion, at the end of my notes, there's one comment I put in all caps, and it's like, I really don't believe or trust anybody on this show's storyline, with the exception of maybe one person, and that's Gertie. I feel like they all bullshitted and are continuing to bullshit through this reunion to remain relevant. And I think the fact that this show was on hiatus for so long, I think that adds to it. They're back, but it's like, I don't like what I'm seeing now that they're back.
The fact that y'all had to revert to two friends exposing that they slept together in order to have some wow factor on a reunion is the evidence of that. But if we're talking for shits and giggles, the reason why I think Adriana was the aggressor is because how quickly she was trying to deny that it was cheating, how quick she was denying that because it wasn't a man, that she wasn't penetrated. So it was like, it wasn't all that. It was just the fact that her immediately denying it, and that was her first reaction. It was like, okay, so to me, you didn't say you didn't do it. That's one. And then two, you're trying to cut out details and trying to put parameters on what cheating is. It does not matter. That's where, so yeah.
Shanny is like, wait, what? It's two women? Yes. So their form of sex would be either using toys, I don't know if I could say it on YouTube, but I could show it, or going to town, eating a meal. So
no, Julia give me, she got some that you can put in the microwave and let it sit for 2 minutes. So that way she give me one of them. She do.
James, don't you ever in your life sit it in the microwave. Rose says Adriana's acting like she doesn't know what sex is between two women. She is a stupid or ignorant. Right.
That was my point.
All this shit about all the fucking art history throughout Spain, not just the art history, the history of the location, the people, we heard her talk about Spanish conquerors, imposter syndrome. You know what imposter syndrome is, but you don't know what sex between two women is. I can say for a fact, because I am actively getting a master's degree right now in psychology and have a bachelor's degree in psychology. There's no way you can achieve either degree, which Adriana has, without learning about sex between a man and a woman and a woman, a man and a man, gender identity. They make us learn all of that shit. So I'm looking at Adriana like, girl, you know how it goes.
She do, and she kills me with that, because she like one of them ignorant ass men who say that shit. And it's like, girl, come on. The intent was still there. So I don't want to hear it.
Wait, so if one of the women wears a strap on, would it? Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Listen to me. Anytime there is intent, and I don't care if the intent confirmed, that's still cheating to me because you went into it wanting to do this. So therefore, you've already put into your mind that I'm going to cheat. And I don't care if you go into the room and sit on the bed and then think about it and then run out. You still went into that room with the intent to do it. So you just couldn't, you might as well have done it. Because I'm still going to consider that cheating.
Spouses, and my husband, he's somewhere in this chat, and he will attest to it. I'm one of them spouses where I believe in emotional cheating too. Don't fucking play with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's worse. Don't play with me. That's worse to me.
That's worse to me. Yeah, that's worse to me because I'm an emotional person. So if you emotionally cheat on me, especially if you don't give me emotionals, like if you don't give me that outlet of emotion, then I'm sorry. Yes, that's worse to me because I think with emotion first before I'm physical.
I cannot. Shandy got me puffing the stizzy. It's legal in California, so leave me the fuck alone, YouTube. Don't hate.
So the strap on the cheating is the fingers on the
yes. If I go and let a female friend of mine finger me, I hope I can say this on YouTube. That is me cheating on my husband. That absolutely counts. Am I off, James?
No.
Is it not?
No,
that's crazy.
No,
that's crazy.
Hell, I feel guilty sleeping in the same hotel room with you.
James did, y'all.
I felt so guilty. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I did the most. Like, I was like, girl, get away from me. And
I had to sit in the bed with that stinking ass drunk colorless lady because of you. And that's it. I'll never forget it. Now, I loved her to death. And honestly, the problem was the bitch was gassy.
Yes.
And
very
James
much so.
refused to share a bed with me. Barely stayed at the hotel. He's like, I might have to go the fuck back to my family's house. At one point, laid on the floor when we was each on one bed. Yep. I said, James, it's not that deep. Look, he's too respectful, y'all.
I am, y'all. I listen, like, and I've known her longer than her husband has known her. I will not do that. I'm just not that person. So yes. Where was the point here?
Let me see.
That point.
Rose,
yes.
I agree with this too.
I agree with this as well. That's why I said she manipulated the hell out of that.
She said, no, that is cheating. It is. It absolutely is. Clear woman who was farting in her sleep all night. Oh no.
Well, let me tell you.
It's her love of sour cream. I'm convinced. She loved cheese. She loved sour cream. She would get 2 extra cups of sour cream at Chipotle after asking them to put extra.
When did we have sour?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. We did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hello.
Oh, girl.
But moving forward, y'all, before I get off track. So Adriana basically is saying all this crazy stuff. I'm not even going to go over Andy Cohen asking Marisol if she believes Adriana would blackmail Julia, because we know how Marisol's going to answer. Julia's claiming she was blackmailed, but baby girl, you wouldn't be able to be blackmailed if you didn't cheat on your wife. Close your legs, bitch. Okay, it's not just close your legs to married people. It's if you married, keep your legs closed unless it's to your significant other. Then spread them wide. But other than that, keep them closed. It's just how it goes. Now, according to Julia, Martina knows that Julia is going to be talking about how she cheated on Martina with another cast member on the show and friend of the family. Andy asked, well, how did Martina react?
How do you think she reacted, Andy?
And Julia says, oh, Martina, she cried. She cried. But I had to prove myself. So you mean to tell me that you cheated on your wife with someone you had in your wife's face at your house, considered to be a godparent for your kids. You cheated on your wife with her. And then you tell your wife about it, but you only told your wife because you felt blackmailed and psychologically abused. You and your wife allegedly worked past this somehow. And now you're on this reunion show. And even though your wife cried at the thought of this coming out again on the TV, you found it to be more important to prove yourself to a bunch of bitches who don't like you and an audience that wants you off of the show instead of doing what most people who cheat would do and try to acknowledge and be there for your wife's wishes. Why is Julia acting like Kirk Frost with a bob? Like, why is she doing this? I don't believe any of this, you guys. I just want to make that very clear. I do believe Julia and Adriana did something together, but I do not believe that a woman who is a part of LGBTQ community that will go on the internet and talk about how she's not for surrogacy and feels a certain way about certain things would be okay with her wife coming on TV and saying that she cheated on her with a cast member, unless they were doing the shit for a storyline so that she could keep the check or something. Like, I don't believe this, James. Do you?
Like, as I said, I don't believe. Here's the thing. I don't know if I don't believe it, but then at the end of the day, I can believe it because Adriana looked like the type.
I think that they did something together.
Yeah,
I don't think they had full sex. I do think they did something together, but I don't. Where's the comment? This one. Martina has to know. Ain't no way you gonna cry and be okay with your wife going on TV exposing that she cheated on you. That doesn't make sense.
I think she knows. No. Here's the thing. I don't feel like she was necessarily in on it, but sometimes, even the strongest of people, when you're in a same-sex relationship, sometimes there is moments where you may overlook it and then you kind of silently punish them. And sometimes that happens in straight relationships too. But I do see it more in gay relationships where if one has cheated, the other one stays in it because they're too emotionally invested, where they don't really leave the relationships. And then they start silently punishing them by being petty and doing really crazy shit by tracking them, checking the phone messages, making sure wherever they're going, they follow in the car. One of my friends followed his husband to, all kind of areas, wasted all kind of gas because the man actually was going where he said he was going. So it's like men really do that.
Not wasted all sorts of gas.
No, when I tell you lied, the man said he was going to the gym and then asked him what he wanted from the grocery store. The fool followed him to the gym and then followed him to the grocery store and then got mad because he pulled up to get a lottery ticket at 7-Eleven and then came back home. He goes, you didn't just go to the store and no gym. You went to 7-Eleven and got a lottery ticket.
If I waste gas, and I live in California, y'all, gas is $5 a gallon.
Yes.
If I waste gas, thinking my husband's cheating, and I follow him to buy a lottery ticket or buy a video game, so I'm gonna feel so stupid. He gonna get gourmet meals the rest of the week. But moving forward, y'all. Adriana admits that Julia was cheating, and she says what she was going to bring out on camera, because Julia is like, you threatened me on camera. You said you were going to put this, so you were holding it over my head. And I'm like, no, baby, that was your guilt if it was really there. Adriana says she was really keeping it. It said Julia was cheating on Martina with a Haitian mortician. Shout out to the Haitian man being a mortician. Get your money, brother. But why are you fucking on Julia? Do better. Raise your standards. No shade. Anybody else on the cast I can understand, but Julia, oh no. And that's the funny part, because Julia does seem like she's just charged up and horny all the time.
Well, I mean, she is a woman of that age, where their sexual peak is, it's just right there. So, I mean, I feel like Julia is kind of like an addict. This is my opinion on Julia, because I don't think she's gay. I think Julia got, pleasure facing the place by somebody who was really great at what they did. And she's been forever chasing that, like, feeling, kind of like a drug addict, kind of like, when they say people who are addicted to, certain things, it's always to chase the original high that they were on. I think that's Julia. I feel like Julia is trying to find that feeling, and maybe Martina has become the closest that she's ever found to that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that somewhere deeper in you that you are a homosexual. That just means that you found your way to be with somebody that happens to be a woman. Like there really is a lot of gray area to sexuality than what people think. And that too. That too, and with Rose City said, I think it is for a meal ticket. I think that comes with, the territory. I think that's a bonus, but I do feel like Julia was forever chasing that original feeling. And sometimes what people do is, even though they found something that comes close to it, they'll always try to see if someone can do it better. And I do feel like that's Julia. I do.
Yep. Boy. She said a mortician and a cop. Yeah, there was also a cop. I do believe, Adriana, that Julia be cheating all throughout the streets. I believe, but that's half of Miami. But with Julia, I especially believe it. Sleeping with, not around the dead bodies. I cannot. I just cannot. Yeah, everything is definitely, Martina's ego is disgusting. I actually don't like her. Never have. And I'm a huge tennis fan. Played varsity tennis in high school. Don't care for Martina.
Which is why I say I feel like she does know, but she's going to use this to be petty. Because I don't think her ego is really going to accept that someone would cheat on her. That's why I said I believe that she knew about it, and I believe that she doesn't care. Like, not that Julia did it. I think that she doesn't want Julia to one up her.
Yep.
So
that's all
yeah,
that is. 9 times. Anybody who's been engaged that many times.
Damn, I'm close.
I question that. I think when you've been engaged that many times, I'm not judging nobody, but you got to look at something. There's something that is happening, because that's a lot of time.
I am on number 5, so y'all don't judge me. Listen, this is the first man I've proposed to. This was actually my doing, but the mothers proposed to me, and I don't know what it is about me, but I'm right there. I'm close up there. 9 times.
People gotta learn. You don't got to say no to every boy that act like they want to marry you.
Oh no, I'm not. I say yes and think about it later, because he may not never ask me again. And
Lord.
And the 2 ones they had money. I'm sorry, no, I had to say yes.
I can't stand you.
I had to say yes. No, you ain't finna play me. Listen,
that they had money. Yeah, I don't. Martina's probably irritated by her because they don't really mess with each other like that. They just don't. I think everybody on this cast should be recycled, personally. But let's see. 8 months ago, allegedly, is when Julia told Martina she was cheating. At the time that this reunion was filmed, which was like a month ago, I believe, 8 months ago would have been around the time that filming finished. So I don't know. Everything just seems convenient. They kind of edited Julia to look like a liar. I think production, Andy, the cast knows Julia's on some bullshit. The only people who were speaking up was Alexia, which annoyed me, and we'll get to that later. But Julia basically does admit to cheating. Julia did not deny the mortician. Julia did not deny sleeping with the cop. Julia ain't denied sleeping with Adriana. So to me, Julia's probably a cheat, and Adriana made a good point. She's a cheat and a liar, which I do believe. However, Julia says Adriana's doing stuff to be malicious, and Adriana reminds her, I wouldn't do this if you didn't call me out. But Julia is an example of the danger of colorless women. On a serious note, she really is, because I feel like she's just pulling shit out of her ass. I feel like some of it's the truth, but I feel like a lot of it is not. And she is willing to come at people just to protect herself and to keep the check. She does give thirst. I do think it's a marriage of convenience. I'm over it. It's tired. Julia ends up backstage pleading her case because they take a break, but they keep filming. And she's backstage pleading her case with Andy. And for some reason, Alexia was following like a fucking leech. And according to Julia, she still loves Adriana. And she says that she's bringing this out because Adriana's been holding it over her head. Again, there would be not shit to hold over your head if you didn't cheat on your wife, bitch. It's very simple math. But just to get out of talking about this, y'all, Kiki and Alexia asked Julia for details on how they slept together. She's like, well, what did you do? And I'm looking at these bitches. I'm like, half of y'all is messy. The other half of y'all is producing where you actually need to produce and get the details. And then the other half of me feel like these bitches is nasty and was like, why not us? But whatever the hell, they try to get details. They don't really get very many details, which I'm not surprised about. Because Julia, you cannot go and tell us you were sleeping with this woman, not deny sleeping with morticians from Haiti and cops, but then act like you can't share details. You've already kissed and told. You could have kept it between you and your wife because really nobody else needed to know. But I digress. But Gertie was right. Adriana's single. She could do what she wants. Larsa and Stephanie were talking about this backstage, and we know that they're close. And I like Stephanie. Stephanie said, Larsa, I'm not siding with you on this. You guys want to come at Adriana as if she did something wrong, but the person married is the one who really did something wrong. She's cheated on her wife. That's a bad thing. So I was here for Stephanie being fair. But things get heated because Adriana does bust in the room and call them out for rehearsing their lines. Y'all got to understand, even though Adriana doesn't handle stuff right, a lot of what happened this first part or second part of the reunion exposed this cast for producing, planning storylines, planning alliances. All of that came out because why else would the girl go in the room to say that? They were in there discussing some stuff. I'm just tired of it all. I really am. James, before we move forward, because I'm looking at my notes and we still talking about this, do you have anything to add to any of what I just stated?
Hell no. I'm over this. I'm just
I am
like,
too, and it took up, I looked at my DVR, y'all. 32 minutes and 19 seconds is how long we talked about these bitches potentially scissoring, eating each other out, or fingering each other, whatever the hell. And I was just like, you know what? This was too much. Let me catch the comments. Kevin Reynolds, you bet not be driving, sir. I'm on your ass like the black on my skin. You better not be driving. Kevin says Martina gives racist vibes. Yes.
absolutely.
She gave those before Housewives existed when she was playing tennis. That's why I didn't like her when I was playing tennis. That lady has been giving that.
Damn, she go. Oh yeah, that's right. That's who that is. I just remembered that.
8 months ago, did they adopt the boys? That's a lot going on. That's my other thing. I feel like the adoption of the boys was for Martina because she never got to have kids. Julia got her kids. Martina didn't got to have kids. And I feel like it might have also been sped up after the potential cheating came out, if they are telling the truth, because that is around the timeline that she would have done that. Rose, come back to my lives more often. I like you. I enjoy that. You catch it all. Kevin Reynolds said, engaged 5 times. What are you slinging and tossing, James? Just messing with you. LOL. I'm telling y'all, James can keep it. We're not talking about this before the live.
We not talking about this. I will do a live and oh Lord, I gotta make sure this man ain't home. I gotta make sure y'all he cannot see this live. But no,
James ain't never struggled. That's what I'll say.
I don't struggle with finding people. I do not. I am like a magnet. Like I always get some crazy shit too. Like this one and another one is more tolerable. And actually, I enjoy the company. But I had a couple of fools, and then when it came to women, I was crazy. So yeah.
Oh yeah, the women was a disaster. I'm actually glad you moved on from that.
Yes.
Just maybe it's just me, but I am glad. Because they wanted to get fought. I was ready to fly. On a plane with these hands in the name of Jesus. Let's see. Rose. Yes, that was weird. The camera following them. LOL. They even asked if it was fingers or strap on. I'm like, this is.
Why does that matter? It's like, okay.
Because I guarantee you, if these were 2 men on the cast, they wouldn't be asking all them details. Guarantee you they wouldn't. I notice bitches like to do stuff like that. I have noticed that. And I don't understand it. It's rude. Let that be. It's already enough they cheating. Like, let it be. But I think they were asking the questions because Alexia and Kiki are so thirsty for relevancy on this show. That's why they was following the cameras, acting weird, being a part of all of it. They're weird. They want a moment. No one should be telling anybody what they and their significant other do. It's their business in the bedroom. It's nobody's. Yep, that's right. That's right. My friend's mom, shout out to Leona. Her mom always said, don't ever let nobody know what you got going on in your back pocket. When I got married, talking about like just keeping your sex life and not letting everyone know all the good that comes your way, because not everybody is as happy for you as they may seem.
True.
She had an interesting way of saying it, referencing my pocket, but you know, thank you. I could be wrong, but I have heard a lot of the housewives are carpet munchers. It don't surprise me because half of them are with their husbands for what they get out of their husbands, not love or looks or any of that. I can't imagine raising kids so young at their age. Let's see here. No, I am stuck. Jam. Literally at a complete standstill in heavy traffic. Oh no.
Oh, I'm sorry
Jam,
that's going on. Yeah.
aren't you in California, Kevin
I
Reynolds?
feel
If you
like,
are,
Kevin, yeah, you're in LA, aren't you?
their traffic is, listen, I deal with traffic on the Bay Bridge a lot. And I be thinking it's bad, but LA traffic, I've never.
So
Mm-mm.
this is how rusty I am. When me and Gio were driving to the Bay Area, or driving home, not to the Bay Area, but driving back to Phoenix. Girl, when I tell you my stupid ass forgot to get gas and was stuck in like traffic for that traffic didn't move for 30 minutes and my light is going off. I got 32 miles left. And you know that part after you leave
Why
Palm
would you let
Springs?
your car get that low? You supposed to fill it.
Girl, I didn't realize, girl, when I tell you I was so happy to see that one shit in the desert, that old army base with that chevron. I was like, oh my god, I got 2 miles left. Let me hurry up. So
I
yes.
cannot with James. Kevin Riddle said he's in the ATL.
Just
They
as bad.
actually have traffic just as bad.
Just
I
as bad,
believe
yep.
Atlanta and LA have the worst commutes in the nation, like consistently. They're always in top 3 worst commutes. But Atlanta, I imagine, is worse because it's small, but there's hella people. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay. I can't.
Yeah.
My brother lived in Atlanta. He went to Morehouse, and he used to call me like, I didn't know shit was worse than 880 on the Friday. I was cracking up. Like, yes, 880 is nothing compared to many commutes. It's just people be on there doing stupid shit, stopping.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like, yeah, people just be on there just be crazy and stuff. And I'm like, out of on a freeway of all places, why do this here?
Yeah. New York traffic is bad too, Shani. I have cousins there, spend a lot of time in New York. I definitely, it's the one place where I would not want a car. Fuck that. But all right, to get back on topic, where the hell were we? We're almost done, y'all. So to finish the saga, Julia now claims that Adriana wanted her to leave Martina to be with her, and Martina and basically wanted to do this for a good storyline. And Alexia started chiming in, and I'm like, shut up. You are a Rottweiler, bitch, loud ass bark. Shut the fuck up. Who has the shock collar? I need to know. Put a muzzle on her. I'm so tired of Alexia and her neck. Her and Jandelle's necks stress me out. I'd like everyone to know. But Alexia, you're chiming in, and this literally had nothing to do with Alexia. They weren't discussing Alexia. They weren't talking about anything that impacted Alexia. So I was like, why are you talking so much? I think Alexia chimed in because Alexia and Marisol's names are attached to everything in this group. But it's especially attached when it comes to like alliances or things previously discussed or things that happen off camera. So I do think Alexia and Marisol need to be separated, like fire one of them, please, because they're clearly causing issues on this show. But all this showed was that Julia and Adriana both lied for a storyline. So it's like y'all throwing all of this and breaking fourth wall, and I'm over it. But in the end, Andy sides with Adriana and tells Julia, like, you're tripping. She said she had good intentions and hoped you guys could get back in a good place. Julia looked like, oh shit, I dropped all this bomb and did all of this for nothing, and says that she hopes that they can make a truce one day. Adriana looks like, bitch, please, and gave Julia a heart in a box, saying that she ripped it out. I don't know. Black people don't do things like this. So I personally could not resonate with the heart in the box. James, did you?
I thought it was tacky. I thought it was silly. I thought it was like a shock value moment that just poorly failed. Because what the fuck was that supposed to be? And what were you doing?
Mm-mm.
Like, what? Like, I've seen horrible props and gifts at the reunion. That is mediocre down to when Sheree had She by She Ain't Shit on that reunion. Now, I said what I said.
James is playing with me because he knows how irritated as we wrap up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still on the clock. But he knows how irritated I'd be by Sheree. I can't fucking stand Sheree. Like, that's another topic we'll get into. Housewives of Atlanta is a fun time because most of them make my teeth itch. Unfortunately, we have to discuss Kiki, y'all. We have to discuss Kiki. My brother made a statement just like this, Kevin, about Atlanta traffic and moved back to California. I said, you came back somewhere more expensive? And it was because of traffic. Can't believe it. Anywho, I'm not going over Kiki. If anyone in the comments would like to be a host, tap in, host from the comments. Let me know what about Kiki's scene with her family and her father moved you guys. I'd be happy to discuss it. There was nothing in it that moved me. I empathize with the people of Haiti. I think they're beautiful people. I think their culture is beautiful. And I hope that they overcome all that's what's happening in the culture and in the country. Resilient people. But I don't want this from Kiki. I think Kiki did this just to have a storyline and to not show us what's really going on. I actually may be going way off base. I think Kiki is hiding something. Just based on some of her mannerisms and stuff that I noticed that I try to turn my brain off and ignore, but I can't. I think Kiki has something to hide. And I think leaning into a storyline about what's going on in Haiti, which many people will resonate and empathize with, is her kind of deflecting. I think Kiki is sneaky. Ergo, she's the only one who did that press tour. She is hiding something. I don't know what it is, but now I want them to bring her back so it can come out. But yeah, I don't have anything to say about Kiki's family. James?
I don't have anything to say either because I agree. I didn't put it in my mind at first that she could be hiding something until you said that. Then it made me really rethink that conversation a little bit more. I felt like Andy could have asked better questions as well. Because I feel like there was a lot of insight to what she did in the season that really wasn't addressed, unless it's going to get addressed next week. But to me, I agree. I was like, she's just there to occupy air as a friend of the show. Y'all didn't ask her anything worthwhile. My prayers are to people in Haiti because I did live in Miami, y'all. And what I will say is that my best experiences with the culture and with the people were people that were of Haitian descent or Haitians in general. They were some of the sweetest, most endearing people I've ever come across. So it does hurt me. Oh my gosh. I still remember potlucks at the post office. When I tell you, girl, I never experienced food like that in my life, but I was so grateful to have met so many of them and actually in a place in my life, where I didn't think I would ever come across them ever. So that was a beautiful experience for me. So I say this to say I want better for her, but she needs to do better individually as well.
I agree. I think we'll leave it there. I also think this is going to go into my plea to the call center, which we have not called out a lot for Bravo recently. If you don't know how to address the struggles of Black, African, Caribbean cultures, then don't hire someone that can. It's okay to admit your ignorance sometimes. Because Andy looked like he didn't know what to do and tried to, well, I'm sure you can all empathize, but it's very different. So that's all I'll say. Moving forward, we move on to Stephanie and Alexia's beef. Stephanie basically explains that because where their beef started was Alexia didn't like that Stephanie made a comment about Todd being the trash, and what you're supposed to do with the trash is take it out when it starts to stink, which I loved and didn't see anything wrong with that. Alexia explains that the reason she felt comfortable to say that is because that's all that, or Stephanie says that the reason she felt comfortable to say that to Alexia is because it's all that was discussed in the group, which is true. For the first half of the season, we wanted Alexia fired because all the bitch could talk about was Todd. Todd this, Todd that. Todd made me do this. He made me do that. I'm pretending this. Girl, be quiet. People are actually going through things in their marriages. I feel like you and Todd both ain't shit. And you both figured that out about each other. And that's where it went wrong. So she talked about it so much. Her friends were talking about her marriage to this new person. So why come at her for it? But I do think Stephanie was trying to be supportive. Stephanie says she did not expect Alexia to be so sensitive about that. And this, of course, upset Alexia. So she instantly interrupted. And Alexia claims that Stephanie did not speak to her, was rude, and kept coming for her, and then tried to switch up the timeline, saying that Stephanie had not met Alexia prior to that situation, even though everyone on the stage, the producers provided receipts. Alexia, everything she said was proven to be a damn lie. And I don't understand why Andy didn't point it out. So y'all could show the receipt, but you can't call her out on the stage, which is what the fans want to see. Because Alexia gets away with bloody hell on this show. She gets away with so much. She just does. And I'm tired of people getting the Kyle Richards treatment. Like, you can go. Oof. But Kyle Richards got more. Kyle Richards figured it out, unlike Alexia. Alexia told us too much. Kyle didn't tell us enough. Now Kyle is sharing stuff. So Kyle is at least trying. Alexia, I don't know what she's doing. But then the group tries to speak for Stephanie. They're all like, well, Stephanie's biggest problem in this group was Adriana. So we didn't like that she came at Alexia. And Stephanie interrupted, which I was glad, because you don't ever let other people put words in your mouth. I think that's dangerous to do just in your everyday life. Always correct people if they're saying you said something you didn't. Like, you don't have to go crazy with it, but always do that. And Stephanie made it clear. Adriana was some of my concern because of what she had watched on the show. But she says that Alexia was a bigger concern. Also because of what she watched on the show and how she experienced her. Stephanie also made it clear that Adriana was actually the kindest and nicest cast member to her when she came on the show, which I was grateful for, because how can you argue that? So I don't know. Essentially, Alexia can't admit that she's wrong. We know that. Andy asked the group if they think Alexia talks down to women. Everyone agreed, but Alexia claims that she only talks down to men. I was like, oh, so you're looking to not be able to keep a man again. She just admitted she'll talk down to them. But okay, Alexia. And you don't talk down to men because you were pathetic with Todd.
I was just about to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. She don't talk down to men at all.
Pathetic.
If anything, you kiss up to him.
Woman to woman, Alexia. Ain't no man on this planet gonna have me going through and acting the way that you was, crying at events, getting trips, and still being upset. Ain't no Negro gonna divorce me, and then I'm still like, well, that's my husband. You're not gonna talk about him. Like, girl, that was shameful and pathetic. It just was. It wasn't domestic violence. She wasn't being abused. Like, just because you know a narcissist doesn't mean you've been abused. Like, I hope everyone understands that. So, I don't know. I'm sick of Alexia. They move on to the plane. This is other stuff I don't want to talk about, y'all. I'm sorry to have an attitude about it, but Stephanie explained she was not trying to flaunt her plane or her wealth. And Andy even said, well, this is a show that's known for people flaunting their wealth. And Alexia still, I don't like how you do this. And Stephanie made the best point. When I show my plane to other rich people, whether they have a plane or not, oh, nice plane, dope. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. She said when I show it to people who don't have it, sometimes they're like, oh, I wish that they could have it. Other times they hate on her and they find something wrong with her flaunting her wealth. I agreed with Stephanie. This is the platform to do it. I really think she used that plane like that. And if she got it, she can flaunt it. Alexia, you was perpetrating. You admitted to lying about your income and certain things on this show. I think the only reason you're mad is because you have to tell a lie, but this really is her life and that threatens you. So I think everyone thinks Alexia is threatened. But how'd you feel about the segment with Steph and Alexia, James Jackson?
To piggyback off the last part of what you said, you guys know there's nothing worse than somebody who perpetrates on reality TV for me. I hate it because at the end of the day, your life is your life and it should always be authentic, whether if it's good, bad, or indifferent. We all are struggling, regardless if we're rich, poor, or once again, just barely skating by. It's not a big deal whether someone has a plane, whether someone has a Mercedes, whether someone has a Bentley, someone has a Rolls Royce. It doesn't matter. We all have a struggle one way or another. That's why that doesn't impress me when people say that. Because like, well, good for you. I'm glad that it happens. Alexia's problem is that she wants to be the richest one out of all of them.
Yep.
She wants to be the one that has more than everybody, so that way she could look down on all of them. That's her problem. She could look down, and the problem is that this one wasn't letting you look down on her because she had more than you, and she wasn't afraid to show you. But her problem is that she feels guilty for having it. And it's like, you need to stop doing that. That's not your fault. Like, you made a decision that ended up working to your benefit. That's not your fault. That is, either people say you're blessing, or people say you've lucked out, or people say, it is what it is. So for me, it's really disheartening to see another woman come down on another woman just because of what she has, because she doesn't have it. It's sad and it's pathetic. And for women that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, it's very pathetic at the end of the day.
I agree. I definitely agree. I'm sick of her ass. Update. Still at a standstill due to major traffic. Currently sitting on the ramp getting on a freeway. I am cool being that I can engage on this live. You know what? I'm actually glad I went live at this time, because for us on the West Coast, it's 3:00. Commuter hours like just now started. But for y'all, I guess it does work out. You can listen, engage, all of that. I do hope you get out of there soon.
Me too, because there's nothing worse than I hate just sitting. Y'all, I am not a traffic person. When I tell y'all, I am hollering, yelling, screaming at everybody, saying, "Get up out my way! I am trying to get off this freeway. I will take the streets." And luckily, I live in a place where everything is parallel, so you can honestly take one street and be at your destination at the same time if you would have took the freeway. So that's ain't it a blessing?
I am from Oakland, California, and we like to drive and dance a little different. So I'm that female in traffic that you probably wouldn't know it's a female in traffic driving. I utilize every lane in rush hour. Like it told me my GPS. I was coming from San Francisco home to do this live. 57 minutes. I got home in 27 minutes. Utilize every lane if you can, but in standstill, you can't do that shit. I could do that here. Alexia reminds me of a dressed up barracuda. She does look like a marine animal. Thank you.
I want her to change her hair.
Bothers me. She won't.
I'm sick of the cousin it look. Like, I need y'all women to, Kim Zolciak, who's another one that is a repeat offender of this hairstyle. She's slipping from my mind. I'm gonna throw Giselle in there too. I want her to change her hairstyle. I want y'all to get new hairstyles. I want y'all to rock either some shortcuts. With Alexia, I want an updo. Like, y'all know how back in the 90s, black women used to have that, that French roll. I want her to get like a French roll or something. I'm tired of her in this hair, cousin it style.
It's almost 8 p.m. Yes. She said, all I got is a Toyota. Girl, a Toyota is a good car.
Girl, Toyota is a great car. That's a flex to have a Toyota. And let me tell you, it may not seem like that. I wish I would have got a Toyota. I love my Honda. I do.
I used to have. And it too. Oh, my heart. That car never gave me one problem. Not one problem. All I did was the oil changes. And then the Toyota I love that car. I need to get another one. Dang.
I'm thinking about getting one too. Like, I really thinking now they have this one called the Crown, and I'm thinking about, they have one called Crown. It's very beautiful.
I don't know, but based on my fast track accumulation, I'm gonna have to trade in my car potentially. But last thing we see, or not the last thing, but we're almost there. Kiki randomly brings up in the middle of Stephanie's thing that people think that the group is racist, and she says that the true issue is that they have a classist issue. Gertie chimes in and explains how she's treated like crap, but Steph is forgiven. And I guess the reason Gertie chimed in is because Kiki was trying to bring up her. Sounds like Kiki and Gertie had a conversation about the racial accusations, because Kiki did deal with a lot of flack from the Black community because she did not stand for her other Black sister on the show and her Haitian sister on the show, which is crazy. And instead of being accountable, it looks like Kiki is going to attack Gertie for that, saying that no one is racist, but they're classist. You can be classist and you can be racist. You can be just racist. You could be just classist. But just because these women are also considered women who are part of minority races and cultures does not mean that they're incapable of being racist. As quiet as it's kept, a lot of Hispanic Latino people, especially here in the state of California, voted for our current president because they had a little feeling against African American people that was not so positive, and they express it heavily out here. So it is not just the colorless that could be racist. You could be racist in any color, any culture, any shape, any form. And the same thing with being classist. I know some bitches living in the trenches that are bougier than bitches living in the billionaire neighborhoods. So I'm looking at Kiki and I'm like, you're not even making no sense. Why would you even bring that up randomly? It was either editing or Kiki is stupid. What do you think it is?
It's misplaced. It's misplaced because what Kiki is saying is a real thing. It's just it's not in this circumstance.
Yes.
It's not in this because she is that was a real statement. Like I have witnessed that myself living in Miami, that there is a classism, and it's not just with Haitians, it's with a lot of people in
Everybody,
Miami.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's more pertinent into theirs along with the colorism, which is why a lot of them, unfortunately do bleach their skin or end up marrying, white men so that way they can have light skinned children. A lot of them will tell you that. So it is something she had a point. It just that wasn't on Gertie's lap, what you were doing. That's where we want to make sure it's clear.
And that's what I don't like, because you cannot make a good point and then tie it into some bullshit, because it takes away from the point that you're making and makes it irrelevant. And then pissing us off even more, Kiki, because why is it Gertie's responsibility to defend our opinions as an audience? They need a different fucking host. These are the questions that should have been asked, because it's like, you itching so bad to say this, Kiki, but I just want to know, since you're so bothered by what you had to deal with because the fans did not like how Gertie was treated, why is Gertie responsible for how they come at you? They do this on that shitty show that needs to be canceled, Love and Marriage Huntsville, with the girl who left the show, the Melody. It's almost like they expected her to control the reaction of her audience instead of reflecting and looking at why the audience might be upset. So I'm annoyed with Kiki for that, but I'm sure we'll come to her again next week. Last thing of this episode was Larsa expecting her friends to unfollow her ex, as her current boyfriend was in the background at the reunion. Apparently, when Lisa divorced Lenny, the whole group unfollowed Lenny. But Lisa did not issue the same respect to Larsa. That makes sense. I feel like girls, we move a little different. But then again, I think the older you get, the more girl code becomes a little more lax, because I have a friend that likes to introduce us to every boyfriend she got, and there's always a different man. I mean, sometimes there's a couple in a year. Hell. But she likes us to get close with them, get to know them, things like that. I don't do that no more for her, but I believe like one or two of the dudes was still on my Instagram. One of them still follows me, I believe. She don't care. But Larsa seems to care. Lisa's not your real friend, boo. None of these women are. This is a show. You are hanging out with each other because of the paycheck. Very few of you would hang out with each other without the paycheck. So I don't want to go over this Larsa and Lenny thing. I feel like this should have been discussed at the beginning, Larsa and Lisa's issue. It's the one issue I could give a flying fuck about throughout the whole season, because it's stupid. Because like I said, with James at the beginning of the season, they're both so shallow, I could give a fuck. But Andy wants to ask at the end of this episode if Larsa was right when she said to Lisa that instead of arguing with me about unfollowing my ex, you should be home with your dad instead of complaining about me, which is actually true. But of course, Andy brought it up with no tact, no class, no taste. And Lisa gets emotional, and that's where this episode ends. I had forgot about that because so much else happened. Lisa, you ain't shit. Because if my father was to call me right now, I'm pausing the live to answer, or I'm going to send him a text to be like, is everything good? If he says it's not, I'll end the shit right now and run right to him. If I knew that my dad had a certain amount of time to live, I'm going to say fuck whatever I'm doing to go and spend those last moments. And then once your parent passes, then you live on for them and you can still do what you do. So I'm curious to see how Lisa handles this. It's a sensitive topic, but we shall see. How you feel about it?
I'm gonna say this because I have went through that. Like when It's hard for me to talk about it, y'all. But for those of y'all who are new to me, I lost my father last year, and I got the news that my father, the doctor said there's no longer anything they can do right before I was going to go live. And I think I was on Mrs. Best's channel when that was going on. And I told her, I like, girl, I just got some really bad news. I don't think I can do it because it was shocking. My father was my first loss. I have never lost anybody before. And so when that happened, I had to leave. I was a wreck. So I totally resonate with that because even though he and I were still working on our relationship, I still loved him regardless. I still was there. So for Lisa, I just feel like I feel like I don't know what happened. And because we don't know the details, I don't want to say she's selfish, but at the same time, you used it as a part of a storyline anyway. And I think that that's where people are finding you disingenuous, because it would be one thing if it happened and you were just like, I just don't have any feeling. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't be emotional. But then you did use it as to get sympathy and empathy and everything else on this show. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's not the same thing. And you are a piece of shit for that, because how dare you say on one episode, I just don't have any capacity for him, but then another one using him as a silver bullet to spray it back to whoever else.
Because I recall when that happened with her daddy, she was like, I know my dad's dying, but I still have to live my life, right?
Yes, that's what she said.
Bitch, your father is dying.
Right.
Like, not my husband in the background. Backhander. But that's crazy. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. But that's really all that happened on this episode. We will be back. When am I back? Oh shit, my brain just crashed. We're back on my channel again tomorrow. We're also going to be back on James's channel tomorrow. They're going to be doing the Braxtons on his channel tomorrow. We're also going to do Bell Collective on his channel tomorrow. All I have is Deb's House. For those who don't know, I will be covering the upcoming season of Married at First Sight. It does air on Lifetime Network. You can also watch it on Peacock and or Hulu. I did not know that. I don't use Hulu. I don't mess with them right now. But I'm going to be covering Married at First Sight. It comes back October 23rd. I will also be covering the Wife Swap Real Housewives edition with James. That airs next week. That should be interesting considering,
yeah, our first episode is with the lady of the evening that we're going to be talking about in just a minute. So y'all go ahead and Bozy on over to my channel now so we can get this going. So that way me and Mrs. Best can enjoy the rest of our evening, because I got some laundry to do.
Yeah,
on Friday.
Me too.
Because I have a wedding to go to tomorrow. So yes.
Excitement. Anywho, y'all, I appreciate everybody for being here. Like the video. Wendy has been arrested on felony charges of fraud. Allegedly, there are 17 counts. We are going to be discussing that on James's channel. He does videos on the shows that we recap. He does videos on like pop culture, what's going on in the news, things like that. So be sure to tune in, Rose. The link to his channel is in the description of my video. But yeah, love and light to everybody. Thug Life. Shout out to the replay gang. I will see you guys tomorrow. Adios.